What is the best way to avoid a financial disaster if you're buying a house as a couple and later down the line you end up getting divorced? How can you plan for that without planning for it? I got for you. Listen up. All right, so let's give a little backstory so we can have a situation here. So you and your spouse buy a house for $400,000. You put 3% down for $12,000. Your closing costs are about $10,000 to $12,000. So let's go with you need a total investment of $25,000, but you've only paid $12,000 to the principal. So you owe $388,000 on a $400,000 house. The other money that was spent for closing costs and down payment, you guys are married. It doesn't matter if it came out of one person's account or another person's account. So forget about that. That money's gone. If you pay on that house for 5 years at today's interest rates, your interest is about 90% of what you're paying every single month. So in 5 years, you may have paid down $10,000 on the house. If you're lucky, maybe a little bit more, because interest rates are high. Most of your money every single month goes to interest, not principal. So let's say in 4 to 5 years, you owe $10,000 less than you did when you bought the house. So you owe about $378, $375, give or take. So depending on what the house has done in value and equity, you may or may not have enough money to even sell that property. You have to pay a real estate agent 5 or 6% to sell the house. You got to pay half the transfer taxes. You got to pay for any marketing. And if there's any repairs that are needed in the house, the seller may ask you to pay those repairs as well. So there's really not a lot of money. So how can you protect yourself from this? First, if you do not need to be on a loan with two people, don't do it. My wife and I do not buy properties together. We don't buy cars together. You just don't know. Forget about divorce. What about death or injury or sickness or any of those types of things? There's zero reason to be locked into any sort of financial debt together when you don't need to be. A lot of people in this market don't make enough money to buy the house that they want to live in, so they have to buy it with two people. Therein lies the problem. When you get divorced, neither person can afford the house by themselves, and neither person can qualify to refinance it out of that person's name if they need to. So the only other option is let one person live in the property, but then both people are still responsible. There comes a lot of headache. That's why divorces happen. Financial problems are a big reason. So to avoid that situation, you want to title your property in tenants in common, so that way each person owns 50% of the property. If one person is putting more money into the house than the other, then maybe you want to do a 70-30 or a 90-10. That way there's no issue. But if you hold the title tenants in common, then both of you own the property equally. So that's where the problem could arise later down the line. If you're buying the house